Hello, I'm Jacob, and today we'll be taking a look at a hot patch. If you have a hole of moderate size in drywall, a hot patch is the quickest and most effective way of making a repair. With the right tools, pretty much anyone can successfully complete a hot patch, as it is not very complicated. In this how-to video, I will go through the steps in depth and to completion, leaving no stone unturned to ensure you have a flawless wall in the end.
To complete the following job, you will need these tools. A green board patch bigger than the hole you are working with. A sanding pad. Drywall keyhole saw. All-purpose drywall mud. A mud knife of 10 to 12 inches. A mud knife of 4 to 6 inches. Utility knife. And a mud pan. Locate the hole you'll be patching. You'll be taking a drywall saw and making a square around it to make for a much easier patch. Next, grab your green board patch. We're using a green board patch because the first layer of paper is much thicker than traditional drywall, making the removal of the gypsum much easier in the next step. Next, you'll be measuring the square you cut in the drywall, and you're going to draw it on the center of the green board. At the top, we're at 2 1/4. The bottom, we're at 2 3/8. The right side is 2 3/4, and on the left side, it's 2 5/8. This is the size of the patch in the middle of the green board. Your goal is to remove all of the gypsum besides the paper and except the middle square that will be filling in the patch. Next, you're going to be scoring all the sides. And then you're going to keep scoring going all the way down both directions, making a crisscross pattern, because you're eventually going to be breaking away all these little squares, removing everything but the paper. This is the example of the crisscross pattern I was talking to you about. With this, you should be able to break it in all the different little crisscross patterns and peel off the gypsum behind it. The technique I prefer for removing gypsum is I like to roll the paper along my fingers, and you'll be able to remove big chunks at once. Make sure you go slower, because going slower will yield better results. Keep the paper on. If it looks like this, you're doing just fine. This is the finished product. You have the patch in the middle, all the gypsum around is removed, leaving you with just the paper. Now that your patch is ready, fill your mud pan with enough mud for the job. Take your smaller mud knife, this happens to be a 4-inch mud knife, and you want to coat the sides of your patch. Be generous. The more mud you have, the better it will stick, and the more strong your patch will be in the long run. Just like that. Now that your patch has mud on it, it's now time to mud around the hole itself. You just want to float along it. You don't want to scrape any of the mud off. That's for a different time. Go at about a 60-degree angle. Make sure you're coating the entire thing. Okay, now you can stick your patch into the wall. It is very important not to get mud on the paper, the front paper of itself. Now that it's stuck on, take your small mutton knife, constantly making sure that there's no mud on it. Now you're gonna press down flat, removing all the mud from behind. All right, the next step in the hot patch process is we're gonna be covering the patch with a layer of mud. We're gonna be doing this with a process called floating, where you don't keep the mud knife completely straight because that will take off all the mud. Instead, you have it about a 60-degree angle and you float it around, leaving a thin layer of mud throughout the whole thing. Get a generous amount on. We're gonna float it across. Smack some on, be generous. Your goal is to leave this without any seams. So this is the final patch. I put 2 coats of mud on this overall. You can't feel a seam of where the patch starts and ends, and you can't feel where the mud starts and ends. So overall, this is a pretty good patch. One of the better ones I've done. So take a look around to the back side and see where the patch was. On the other side, it's perfect. Thank you for watching.